we are not proud of what we are doing every day. Life is too short to spend it in something that I'm not passionate about. That's something that I try to tell all our 500 people, 504. Earning a living has become living a life. I spend more and more hours at work or thinking about work or talking about work. I might as well do it in a way that inspires me. Not that makes me feel, oh, I'm glad it's over. Oh, it's Friday afternoon. Weekend is here. I think we should have as much fun on the weekdays and not reserve it only for weekends. And that comes when I belong to a certain place. There is functional leadership, as I've already talked about, and there's the concept of ownership. And that again, in my opinion, is a little bit of an Indian or an Eastern concept. I call it humble arrogance. What is the arrogance about being owner of a company? I could die tomorrow, and what I own is of no use, at least to me. There is no way that man has found to take it with him wherever he goes. I am an owner because I have a large share of shares of the company or equity. I am an owner because when the profits are made, I make the largest number. But in the way we've done it, everybody is owner. Maybe we have different levels of ownership. But in bad times, I remind my people, what happens if the company starts doing that? Machines start closing down, customers stop taking orders, machines close down, shifts are closed down. A lot of those 500 people don't know any other way of making a living. Since they got into the world of making a living, they've been winding capacitors on a machine. 20 years later, I tell them, sorry, there's no business for you. He goes away. He has to start his life from scratch. Someone like me will find a job for him. Maybe I have enough money to invest it somewhere. So I tell them that they are actually bigger owners, especially when the company fails. You lose more than I lose. If not in profit, in loss, you are a bigger owner of this company than I am. And once they begin to understand that, they begin to behave differently. Their belief system changes. And finally, the fact is that I am because they are. I'm talking to you and giving you this hopefully useful speech because those people exist and they have performed over the last almost 15 years consistently. And hence I owe it a lot to them. So I owe it to myself, but I owe much more to them. Finally, back to figures, as I sort of close this presentation. You are familiar with the one on India, where we were making a 12% return on investment. And this was China finally making 34% aided by the government. I can't do very much about their drawbacks, but I can, from this 12%, I found a way of coming to 25% return on investment without changing very much at the policy level. What we have done, I want to go through the figures. Because of the kind of company I am, I'm able to get a 3% more than China. I tell the customer I'm close to you, I speak this language, I am socially responsible, I give you the reliability, less cost to you in terms of chronology, conflict, concern. So please give me 3% more, or in his opinion he's giving the 5% more, but actually 3%. So I start getting there. Raw materials, I'm able to manage my raw material cost exactly the same as the Chinese do. How do I do that? I treat my suppliers as stakeholders, as simple as that. Every time a Korean or a Chinese or a Japanese lands up at the Delhi airport, which at least till 2 years ago was not such a nice airport, it was scary for people to get out at 2 o'clock in the morning. I will have my car there with a security guard to receive it. So the security guard has to be a part of this team. He's there because a guest is arriving. A guest of the company, a guest of the country is arriving. So he's trained in talking to him, keeping him awake at 2 o'clock, putting him in his hotel, making sure everything is okay, then coming back to the factory. So the guy begins to feel a part of our team. All I want from him is please give it to me at the same price that you give it to a Chinese. Understand that you are a part of this. If I don't do a 30%, you fail also. So we are able to get the same level of cost. Raw material support, okay, with some smart thinking I can bring it down, but not as much as the Chinese. In manpower, I'm delivering much better than my Chinese factories. Of course, in the last 2 years, Chinese costs have also gone up, but I'm not taking that into account. Even at the same cost, you can imagine with all that I've said, we are able to drive far better productivity, far lesser rejection, far better yield. In power, again, energy savings, but they're still not at 2, but of course we are at about 4. Finance, the same thing. Bankers love a story like this. While everybody gets it at 14%, I still get it at 12%. I don't have to give them the kind of mortgages that you get from other people. I tell them, if you're not interested, somebody else will buy my storage. And I think we are, if I'm not mistaken, but in the SME segment, we are the highest rated company from a credit rating perspective. We have never failed any obligation financially in the last 20 years. Marketing and others, again, I'm able to shave off, let's say, 1.5%. And finally, my profit has jumped from 9.5 to 14. While I can claim that no other stakeholder has been hurt in the problem. That's what I call a win-win. I hope you have some points from the story, and now I'll put the question.
Yes, what's the mic?
Andrew, some of the mic.
So thank you for a great presentation. Actually, I have a question on this. When you first showed us the first two columns with India and China, you said that this was assuming vis-a-vis, especially at quality level. I do see that some of the reasons why DECI is doing better is because of Six Sigma initiatives and JIT and all that, which I'm assuming has added a lot to your costs. So I'm just wondering, where here do you show that cost? Because I see your return on investment is higher than the average Chinese. I'm not sure what that cost will be here.
Okay. If you look at, for example, in the older slide, you're absolutely right in pointing that out. In the first slide, the slide is actually made to show that even if all these costs were equal, the truth is that most Indian companies would not be at 48, they'll be at 52, 53. So even keeping it at 48, because my Chinese factory, for example, in Shenzhen, let's give you an example, the raw material is brought in every week on a truck. There are no customs, there are no barriers because they buy it from within Shenzhen. If a machine goes bad, they don't have a huge break-in facility because the machine supplier is close by. So you can, maximum 24 hours, you can have the machine there. So the truth is that in the older case, if I show you that example, my costs are not 48, they would have been about 52, 53. So I've just been able to bring it down to 48. At the moment, I don't see a possibility of bringing it below what the Chinese are getting it at today. But I do think in 2 years' time, we will be at a level where maybe our sourcing will be better. And the reason for that is not so much to do with this, but we are trying to build in an ecosystem within the country. So I'm encouraging a lot of suppliers to do value addition. Wire suppliers, alloy suppliers, for example. They think, why can't we establish it here? Try to teach them some things that we did successfully.
So in order to compete with the Chinese, from a manufacturing perspective, you have differentiated yourself based on quality? Mainly? Okay.
Yeah. What it also does, additionally, is, I named to you some customers like Philips or Sony or LG. They are very, very important customers. They don't give you great money. They are very tough buyers. But two things they do to you. One, they keep you absolutely sharp on quality. They don't let you fall from that by any chance. And the second, they give you a lot of assured volumes. So when you have a business plan that basically, based on the fact that you have to grow 30% every year, you don't want a base that is sinking. You don't want to be losing some customers. And that is where no customers play a very big role.
I have a question.